Hi everyone, my name is Nahal Halfbean. I'm the founder of Yoga Avec Moi and host of the Bicentenary Meditation Project. And today I just received a question from my friend about energy and how it works. And so this is a question that she submitted, just so you know the context. So I believe everything is energy. We can pick up other people's energies, not only my own experience, particularly when I'm with others, the vibrational frequency that I'm giving off, I'm pulling and getting a negative energy. Yesterday, their energy, being with me, attracting when I'm being with certain people outside for lunch, the way men were being drawn to her. This is not my energy. One of my friends' energy, not feeling respect. Their interaction was not good. What does one do with your observation? Like you're observing it, you're interacting with it. Unbudgingly, it doesn't seem to impact you. You're like aware and conscious of it, that it's not my energy. Like I don't want it to impact me. Don't want it to impact me. And then another example was given, like when she's driving, like I'm driving, the car becomes a magnet, and maybe it's not my place and nothing you can do. I don't know if you believe in this. The lower our vibrations, the lower vibrations we attract. We clean our slate every day. We are unfettered. I'm just curious of what your understandings are of it. So absolutely, in terms of how energy works, I wanted to share, basically it's pure physics in the sense of, I wanted to give an example of a beaker with water in it. And you know, like the typical example that's given in high school, where it's like a beaker and it has like a slit in the center of it. One half of the slit has like sugar water and the other has just pure water. And what happens when you open the slit is that you'll see the mixing of the sugar water go towards the pure water, and it will begin to mix. And over time, it will mix all the energies together. Like it will mix the sugar water and the water together. Basically, high density moves to low density, right? So basically, that's like the kind of direction that usually flow or movement happens. It's from high density to low density. So what happens when we encounter like negative vibrations is that, and if you're not there's several ways that this can happen. One is that low vibration attracts low vibrations, or it's that low vibration meets high vibration and wants to be impacted by it and wants to change into higher frequencies or higher vibrations. So the denser things are, it will be attracted to things that are light to kind of like disperse it and to feel that lightness and feel that sensation. Haven't you ever felt like people who are super negative like just come to you and really all they're asking for is like relief? So I want you to see it as, you mentioned you don't want to be impacted by it. Something I really want to say that's so important for you to know is that no one can impact you unless you allow them to, okay? Nobody has power over you. Nobody can influence you if you do not allow them to, okay? No one. So it's important to be in your core, in your anchor, in your, like just think of yourself planting yourself as a flag onto the ground and just like immovable, okay? You are stationed here. Whatever comes in your vicinity, in your direction, it will be impacted by it. And now that we're here, I'll just share a story of a father trying to teach his daughter a lesson of life. And what he did was like bring 3 different bowls, and he put and lit it on fire, like put like in a pot. And in one he put a carrot, in the second he put an egg, and in the third he put a coffee bean. And for 30 minutes he let the water boil and asked her to like observe this. And afterwards he asked her to take each one out and put it on a plate. So after 30 minutes, the carrot, she was trying to get like a fork and knife, and literally as she was taking it out, like it was disintegrating into the fork and knife, and hardly much of it could come onto the plate. The second one was the egg, which didn't change, immovable, and just came onto the plate. The third was a coffee bean, didn't change at all, also on the plate. And he said to her, life is like this. It will give you tests equally. The light of fire is equal, but you can choose which one you want to be. Do you want to be like the carrot, where under fire, under pressure, you disintegrate completely, like shatter? Or do you want to be like the egg, that's unchanged on the outside, but inside is hardened, okay, and tough and callous like? Or do you want to be like the coffee bean, completely unmoved, unchanged, but look at the water and smell the fragrance, that not only has the bean itself not been changed, the water is all dark around it and the smell of it is all around. I want you to be like the coffee bean, unchanged, unmoved in any circumstance. No one has power over you. Only you can positively influence. When someone has a bad attitude, you and your beautiful smile, you will just do your magic and it will transform others. Other people will have to be reflected by you. You do not allow anyone to influence you and mess up that inner turbulence. That's work you need to do. That's the discipline that you need to do to stay within your core. We never in yoga ever look at someone else's action as to what to do and how to work them and what they need to. It is always about the self. What is in you that is not aligned? And we click on ourselves. We do not blame. We do not control. We do not do anything with the other person. It's always about the internal environment, okay? So going back to your question, you don't want to be impacted by these guys who are looking at your friend and they're disrespecting her and all these things. When I hear something like this, I hear several things. One thing I hear is that there's some work that needs to be done when it comes to men. And I'm going to talk about this. The second thing that needs to be dealt with is jealousy. Okay, so I'm going to put this aside, a little park it on the side here, just gently, okay? Because we're going to talk about some really uncomfortable things right now. Stop. Or Nahal, go on. So the things about dudes. Yes. Let us just say those of us who are women who are on the spiritual path, we will many a time encounter very unconscious men, okay? That is just life, okay? But having said that, we're not saying that. Do you hear a bit of ignorance, a little arrogance in there to be like, oh, we're so enlightened and they're so not, okay? Like, no. That's not how we act, because that is a sign that we're not also checked. We haven't checked ourselves. So it's not about they're unconscious, I'm conscious, and you're not conscious. No, okay? When we encounter any situation that gives us a little bit of a emotional kerfuffle, okay? The only question I want you to ask is not whether or not, what are they and how could they do this, or like what is going on there. All a waste of time. Bring it back in, bring it back in, bring it back in, bring it back in, bring the focus back in. Something like that happens on the outside. It agitates you. Boom, go in. What's going on? What is going on? Why is this bothering me so much? And so one thing I wanted to say in terms of like men gawking at women and just like objectifying women and just like looking at them lustfully and just being like, like dogs, like salivating, okay? That's where they're at. It doesn't matter. It matters how we're seeing. So we see this and we're just like, ew, ugh, gross. Like they're so, whatever. This is the part of us that needs to really work on compassion for men. And I would even go a step further to say it is an aspect of within ourselves that we reject. That is why when we see it in others, we are uncomfortable by it and it agitates us. So every time you get agitated by anything, the only thing I want you to ever feel is excitement. Ooh, oh my gosh, one other thing that will help me get closer into my emotional practice, or like deeper into my spiritual awareness, deeper into my practice. Always looking at the self, never at other people, okay? Never at other people. So these men are there, they're checking out your friend. You're like, oh my God, so disrespectful, all these things. Check in with yourself. How are you feeling? How is your inner masculine feeling? Do you ever allow it to express certain things? And this is like, how do we get to know our inner masculine? So every human being has the inner masculine qualities and the inner feminine qualities. And really what we need to do is to develop them so high to a point where we're reflecting the divine masculine and the divine feminine. And there's certain qualities in so many books that you can read about this. One really fantastic one for the masculine side is the book, The King, the Lover, the Magician, the Warrior. It's the King, the Warrior, the Magician, the Lover. And it's so good. It talks about the 4 major masculine archetypes. And I literally inhaled that book because I had to really work through some masculine disgust. Just to put it straight for you. It was so much because almost 98% of men that I was meeting, I was physically gagging from their actions, like so horrified from it. So I feel you, sister, I feel you. But I will tell you, when you start healing the inner masculine side, the next time a man does that, you just send a prayer and you send love and you're just like, cool. It doesn't even faze you. It doesn't even faze you because you're just like, they're on their journey and that's cool. You don't even waste so much energy being like, oh my God, you know, like, no, why just like dispense all your power to like other people and like allow someone else's actions to like disturb you so much. Mind you, that also eggs them on. All men want is like a woman's attention and a woman to like, you know, this is something that a lot of people don't understand when they, about men and like also why they cheat, is that what they really are exercising is competence. Whether or not they're competent enough to actually get a girl. You know, it's not even actually about wanting that specific girl. That girl is so beautiful. That girl is so precious. That girl is so, oh my gosh, I just want to hold her and love her and just marry her and just cherish her and commit to her. No, it's all about like, I'm wounded. Am I capable of actually getting this person? Like, I feel incompetent and I express my competence by obtaining women. And once I've obtained them, I like let them go. This is where the disgust comes in, because what happens is that they're just discarding women and like being expendable with them. They're like expendable to them. That it's not really, they approach you with respect, with dignity, with honor, and wanting to worship and cherish and love you. No. So having said that, how does that work in ourselves? So I want you to read the book, The King, the Warrior, the Magician, the Lover, and to see how all of the aspects of the immature masculine, when it comes to how men treat women and their mothers, what they truly want and how they're really bonding and like how they need to exercise their competence and why they watch porn, all of these things, I want you to like read this book. It's phenomenal. And what I want you to do is to do a lot of inner healing with your masculine side. I want you to start having a conversation with your inner masculine. Just start to have a conversation to see, like, get to know him. Hey, what's your name? Hey, what are some things that you want to do for me? What are some things that I haven't allowed you to do? Why do you do certain things? Or like, how are you responsible in my life? Or what is your role in me in this world? Okay, and you can use whatever outward image of anyone, of your father, your brothers, or like just men that you see in the world, all as a reflection of something inside of you. You use them as a reflection of the one inside of you. And you speak to that portion of it and say, why are you so gross? They will talk to you and tell you things like, all I want is just a woman to like wholeheartedly love and accept me and love me, because my mother always like just looked at me and criticized me and didn't let me express myself. So I'm constantly seeking women's attention so that I can fulfill myself, but then I never feel fulfilled because it's actually, I want my mom like to do this, but I haven't healed that part of myself. Like it gets deep. Okay. So that's a whole other work for you to do. Okay. So that's that. Now working on the jealousy. So as conscious women, we are not the kind to be like, oh my God, hey guys, how's it going? Hey, stop. You want to look at me like this? Do you want to just like look at me? That's not what we do. Okay. We know this. However, because we don't go about flaunting for attention, sometimes we're just like, damn, I really want attention. Like, or like, I really want guys to look at me the way sometimes they look at my friend. And they might be like, have an obvious beauty, or like wearing something a little bit more scandalous where it's just like the tongue comes out and just like chop it, you know? And so we might see someone else get their attention and we might just be like, oh my God, that's so disrespectful. But part of us, like I'm saying a very small part, I'm not even saying like a major part, but it's there. It's like a flavor of that is there. And to just be like, and to check yourself and to be like, is it really that I want like attention? Like truly, like I want to be the object of someone else's desire. I want a man to look at me with love and craving and just like really just lay his life out on a platform, just platter for me and just be like, baby, whatever you want, I'm just gonna give it all to you. Okay. I want that. Okay. So it's like, we don't want these sort of attentions, but we do want attention. And sometimes when we're so like moral and so disciplined, we end up becoming hard like the egg. And we become stiff and we just become like rigid. And we don't really accept when men give us attention because it's either unwanted or straight up like disrespectful. Or it's like not the kind that we want, or we don't want it from these dudes. I want it from that one. And but I'm like, I'm not getting it from that one. And it's just like, oh, but I want it from that one, you know? I've only had one man in this earth so far that has shown me of like, usually I'm all like hard and just like, yeah, let's do it. Let's get it done. Like all these things. And when I met this one man, oh my gosh, there was like almost like an invisible pocket, I would say, like right here, where I just like slipped into it and literally my whole body started like moving like a woman. Like I could feel like my hips like move more, and like even started doing these weird things where I was like kept on like flicking my bra to be like almost like this weird like call, like rah, rah! Like focus on me. It was like literally just straight up primal. I felt it like. And it was just like when someone is in their masculine integrity, oh my gosh, that is so hot. That is so hot. I just want to salivate and just like, literally those are the type of men that you'll just be like, just like, do you want me? Do you want to make out right now? Just tell me, right? There are not many of these men for types of women like us, okay? So, one is to know that these men are rare. Second to know is that when these men, also the type of women that these men want are very different. there is very obvious beauty that people can have, but you speak to them for like 30 seconds and you're like, ew. You're like, ew, no. And then there's other people who didn't look that great, but then over time you're like salivating over them because they're just so spiritually, wow, attractive that you're just like, oh my God, just marry me, please, right now. You know? So one is to know that this attention seeking, it's okay. Clear out the energy of jealousy with the cleansing practice, emotional cleansing practice. I will link it up below for those of you who don't know about it. Clear out the energy of jealousy because that needs to go. But then also acknowledge the fact that this desire of wanting to be desired is okay. And it's not wrong to want that. It's just not helpful, and it's such a waste of time just constantly going about seeking it from things and people that you know are not going to give you what you ultimately, truly, and deeply desire. Okay? So it's like having a man in his integrity, literally, for women like us, I will just be like, just take me now. You know, like, it won't even be a hesitation. But for the men that don't really do that for you, like have the opposite reaction of like, you work on yourself then. And that's where you need to work on your compassion for men. And really, you need to work up to the point where no man's, any of his actions will have that kind of impact on you. Like literally, it will just be like, oh, I'm so sorry that like you're feeling that, or you can hear the pain and the feel of it, and you're just like, yeah, come just like lay on my chest and just let me hold you for a bit, because that's really all people want. You know, that's also what an immature masculine would create. Like mature masculines, they need nurturance and they need like love and for you to like hold them in their like manhood too. But like compassion is one thing that like we really need to work on. Not to reject men because of their unconsciousness, because when you show them mercy or when you show them grace, they will check themselves much faster. And that's literally what actually propels someone's spiritual practice. This is why when you're in your core, you're looking at yourself, you're not blaming other people, and you're thinking about how can you work on this better, then you can be compassionate with other people. And then they're just like, and your kindness and your forbearance is so impactful that you impact them. You become like the coffee bean with the water, which is like symbolic of emotions. You change the water, and you like this fragrance of your kindness from that thing just happens. So the next time you see men gawking at you like that, one is I want you to really be in your core. So much so that they're like, oh my God, are they deaf? Can they not hear me like harassing them? And just being like, you're so focused on your own conversation and getting to know your friend and talking to your thing. Be focused on your friendship, man. Get it together. And like, focus on that. So when it comes to energy, is like, be in your own space. One other practice I will give you for when you feel that this energy is like there. This is something that someone else shared with me. Imagine yourself encased in a crystal, like almost like cup yourself, or like from the bottom up, just cup yourself and then put like a lid on it. And just feel that like nothing can penetrate you. Nothing can disturb you. Nothing can affect your frequency. Nothing can affect your power. Anything that does disturb you, you are giving your power away to that person, to being like, they have the power to disrupt my mood, ruin my date with my friend, and like completely overtake my emotions. And you did that. You just like handed over your power to that person. But if sometimes you're feeling a little bit weak, and we all will get there, imagine yourself being encased in this crystal, and like nothing can penetrate you, and nothing the other person can say or do or like can affect you. And And this is also like a respect that we give our own souls, of that our souls are sacred. We only allow our souls to encounter other sacred beings and other crystals of human beings. Ones that reflect light, ones that just radiate light and just are really focused on honing on themselves, and they're accountable for their actions. Men like that you were describing, who just gawk at women, they do not take responsibility of their own actions. They just like do these things, and they think they don't impact other people. They actually, in reality, it's that they don't know their own power, and that they misuse their power, and they dish out their power, and they just not great. It's just not a true understanding of like how energy works and how we're all connected. Going back to a very, very basic principle of like how energy works, everything is like a particle. Energy is like a particle just moving in a wave. So we're all everything. Air is in a wave right now. This table is in a wave. I'm in a wave. You're in a wave. Like the wall's in a wave. Everything is in a wave. The physical objects are just moving at a very small, lower vibration, meaning the frequency of the wave going up and to the frequency going down is not so high. So it's like a lower amplitude, okay? Things that are higher frequency, they go up and down like this. They have a lot of energy and they can impact like everything around them. And we can become infectious when we have this like high vibratory state where everything is forced to vibrate at our frequency and not at someone else's frequency. Okay, it's like never allow someone else to. Have you ever had someone like insult you and then you completely like make a joke and make light of it and just be like, haha, that's so funny, like, oh my gosh, and like the other person was like, wait, what? Like I couldn't like get to them. It's so frustrating when you're trying to bring someone down and you can't get to them like that. Not that I've tried. It's not my jam. But I have had a lot of people try or just be in a negative state themselves, like they're in a mood. And I'm just like, cool, I'm not only gonna not be influenced by it myself, I'm just gonna be loving, compassionate, and whatever my emotion is, they will, after being with me for 10 minutes, they will get that emotion. I will not be influenced by other people's emotions. Straight up, oh no, I will not. Okay, so really, stay in your core, stay in your thing. Know that we are all connected. When you start vibrating at a higher frequency, if this is a wave and it's just gonna go to you, know that it will go to the other person, that dude who's looking at you like that, because you're just sending high, loving frequencies to them. And then they're like getting slapped around by like loving frequencies that they're either gonna just get up and leave or be impacted by it and just be like, all right, let me just chill. That was like rude and I shouldn't have done that. Let me go and apologize. You know, you can really help influence people like that. Another example of just like, this is an act of like resistance. You're resisting the other person. You're just like pushing back on whatever energy they're like throwing at you. The other thing is just like welcome it. Just be like surrender to it. It's almost like in martial arts, like you never actually like release power when you do it. It's always like when someone else is punching you, you always like almost like use and change the direction of the momentum and you dish it back. That's how martial arts work. It's not about my force is better than your force and I'm not and I'm gonna like overpower you like that. No, it's just like, oh, I'm just gonna like, oh, you didn't get me. Like it's something like that, okay? So that's how I want you to be. When you have like situations like that where you're feeling like you have negative energy, just be like, I'm chill as a cucumber. Okay, I'm so cool right now. Like no one can impact me. Other people can only be impacted by my energy. I will not be impacted by other energies. Done. Nor can you. This is the reality, is like you cannot allow other people's energy to affect you unless you allow it. So I think that was done here. I think that was, hopefully that was clear and helpful into a little crevice as to how energy works, the different components of it, how we can be influenced by it, how we affect it ourselves, how we can protect ourselves with the crystal, all these things. And yeah, let me know if you have any questions and I will see you in the next video.